Hi guys, welcome to our very first yoga class. So before we even get started, go ahead and pause the video so you can do your free journal right. So just a reminder what that is. So you're going to set your timer for 5 minutes and you're just going to either type on your computer, which I recommend because it's easiest, or a piece of paper and type about whatever you want. Since this is your first time doing it, I'll give you a prompt, but you definitely don't have to follow it. So today's prompt will be write about why you chose your major or something pertaining to your major or college or whatnot. And then if you don't want to write about that, then write about whatever you want. So again, set the timer for 5 minutes. Type, don't stop typing, and you might find yourself, you might start talking about your major, and then you might start talking about what you did this weekend or how you're feeling or whatever. There's no wrong way to do this other than not writing for 5 minutes. Also, try not to edit it. I don't care if words are spelled wrong or it doesn't make sense. Just let it be raw and all that. So do that now, and then we'll get started. So you can just go ahead and pause the video and then just turn it back on. Okay, so we're going to get started. So today's class is going to be very short. So because I'm just kind of starting with the basics. And the biggest thing in yoga, and I think the most important aspect of yoga, is the breath. You think we're always breathing. It's involuntary. You don't have to think about breathing. But really, breathing is quite difficult for some people, and you may already experience trouble breathing. So I'm going to talk a lot about breathing during this semester, but what we're going to do today is kind of see where we are with our breath. So a typical breath, it's called a 3-part diaphragmatic breath. It starts from the belly, travels into the ribs, and then ends into the chest. Sometimes, a lot of people, they just breathe in their belly or they just breathe in their breath or their chest, especially in stressful situations. Though their nervous system changes and their brain goes into fight or flight and they forget how to breathe. But you don't know that you forget how to breathe. It just happens and it becomes a habit, a bad habit that your body it's how your body reacts. So over the semester, we're going to really work with that, and I'm going to have you guys observe yourself in stressful situations and observe what happens to your breath. Are you a chest breather? Are you a belly breather? Do you hold your breath? Does your body get really tight and tense? And also, the breath tells us a lot about how we're feeling. So let's say you're in your chest breather. Typically, if you're a chest breather, it's because you're really anxious or you're nervous about something. Let's say you're just a belly breather. That could be a sign of not being able to let go of something or holding on to something or ruminating on something. So it's really interesting to see how our breath reacts in situations, in stressful situations. I just wanted to give a little background on the breath. So today I'm going to give you a little breathing exercise, and then we're going to do a few stretches, but it's not going to be anything crazy. And then our second video of the week, I'll get a little bit more into yoga. But keep in mind, the first probably 2 weeks, it's going to be more learning. And then once we figure out all that learning stuff of what we're doing with our body, it will be more of like a class where I'm not really talking at the camera, but I'm more instructing, step your right foot forward, inhale, reach up, more like that. But for the first 2 weeks, it's going to be a lot of me jumping in, talking, explaining exactly how to do it. So what I want you to do is, if it's comfortable for you, lay down. I'm not going to lay down. Actually, maybe I will. So you're going to lay down, and if it's not comfortable for you to lay down, try to find a seat on the ground or even on a chair, and just allow yourself to be comfortable. So for this purpose, I'm actually not going to lay down. I'm just going to talk you through it because your eyes will most likely be closed. So just listen to what I'm saying. So take a moment and get comfortable, either laying down or sitting. And as you get comfortable, if it feels all right, start to close your eyes. And if you don't feel like closing your eyes, keep them open, but maybe just gently shutting them a little bit so they're soft and relaxed. Now this next part might be a little difficult. So what I want you to do is breathe normally, how you would breathe normally, but try not to think about it, which is hard because I'm instructing you to breathe. So try not to think about the breath at all. Just breathe how you normally would. If you're just laying on the floor, just breathe. So take a few moments to just do a few rounds of breath. Again, don't guide it or direct it. Just let it happen. Just like I'm breathing now, just let it happen. Okay, now without changing your breath, now I want you to bring your awareness to the movement of the breath. So again, you're not changing it yet. Just notice how you're breathing. Notice if one part of the breath is a little more difficult. Notice if the inhale is more difficult than the exhale, or the exhale is more difficult than the inhale. Notice if the breath is just kind of in the belly. Maybe it's kind of getting stuck just in the chest. Maybe you notice that you breathe into the belly first and then the chest. Or maybe you notice you breathe in the chest first and then the belly. Just anything that you notice, kind of take a mental note of that. Okay, now we're going to move in. I'm going to teach you how to do the diaphragmic breath. So the diaphragmic breath is how you should be breathing all the time. I'd say this isn't a cold, hard fact or statistic, but if I had to guess, I'd say that, let's see, I have 18 of you in this class. I'd say about 15 of you don't breathe correctly, which is totally fine. I used to not breathe correctly either. So what I'm going to do is really try to teach you how to breathe correctly. And if you're someone who doesn't struggle with the breath, this exercise is still really beneficial. So you're going to be laying or sitting. I prefer laying, it's probably easier. And you're going to just softly interlace the fingertips. And you're going to place them on your belly. And I want you just to breathe in the belly at first. So as you do this exercise, it might feel a little funny at first because I'm asking you to take a shallow breath. So you're breathing in, the belly should get big and expand, and then as you breathe out, the belly button should sink back towards the spine. So see if you can just breathe just in the belly. And you might notice on the inhale, the fingertips gently pull apart, and on the exhale, the fingertips gently come back together. So just shallow breaths, just in the belly. Inhale, expand. Exhale, deflate. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, now what you're going to do, keep breathing. You're going to take your hands and you're just going to move them up towards the rib cage now. Now we're adding on. So same thing. Breathe in the belly first and then send the breath into the ribs. So we're inhaling in from the belly up to the ribs, and then we're exhaling out from the ribs down to the belly. So it's a kind of like a two-part breath now. It's like, so it's not going into the chest. So again, it's not going to feel like a full breath yet. It's just going to be a short breath. So again, in the ribs, you should feel the ribs puff out on the inhale and then go back to normal on the exhale. So do that a few rounds. Belly, ribs. Belly, ribs. And then we're going to put it all together. So now you're going to take your hands and you're going to move it to the chest area. Again, they're relaxed. And same thing, we're going to breathe into the belly, let the breath travel up to the ribs, and then travel into the ribs, and then exhale like it's looping around the body. You're exhaling. The chest deflates first, then the ribs, then the belly. So it's breathe in, belly, ribs, chest. Breathe out, chest, ribs, belly. Do that a few times. And it might not feel right at first. It might be really difficult for some of you. You might feel like the breath is getting stuck or you're not able to take a big inhale, or you're not able to take a big exhale, that's okay. Just see what you're capable of. So again, it's that 3-part breath, and it's smooth. So I kind of explain it in a choppy manner, but it's all smooth. So it's just one continuous breath moving up towards the chest, and then it kind of loops around down through the belly. So keep going. We'll take maybe one more breath here. And then relax, and you can release your arms. We're going to do one more breathing exercise, and then we'll do a little bit of movement, then we'll be done for today. So if that was difficult for you, it's okay. It probably was difficult for you, and that's okay. If it was easy peasy, that's great. Then we're on a great start. But yeah, don't get discouraged if it was difficult. You'll be so surprised at how much easier it gets to breathe. It is for you to breathe, and it's a very, very important aspect in yoga. It's going to give you that mind-body connection. So it's really important that we get a handle on how to breathe while we're moving at the same time. Okay, so second breathing exercise, you're going to lay on your back. If laying on the back right now isn't comfortable, sitting again is fine. Gently close the eyes and try to really relax your body. So think about if you're holding tension anywhere in the body. Maybe you hold your tension in the eyes or the jaw. Try to soften the tongue in your mouth. Try to relax the shoulders, arms, palms, fingers, down through the hips, the buttocks, the legs, knees, calves, heels, soles of the feet, and toes. You're relaxed. And once you take a few rounds of a natural breath, maybe that 3-part breath if you can. And then what we're going to do is we're going to count our breath. So we're going to try to start with an equalized breath. So we're going to count in for a natural 4 or 5 count. So whatever feels natural to you, I'll count, but you can stop when you're ready. So we'll start inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep doing that. Count on your own now. Inhale for a count of 4 or 5, and then see if you can exhale for a count of 4 or 5. And it's okay if it's not perfect at first or you're struggling a little bit, but just try to find an equalized breath, an equal inhale and an equal exhale. Good. Last part, we're going to extend the exhale now. So I still want you to take that natural breath in, counting to 4 or 5. And then as you exhale, I want that exhale to be a count or 2 longer. So if you're breathing in for a count of 4, I want you to breathe out for a count of 5 or 6. So allow that exhale to be extended. And as you take that long exhale, I want you to think of the exhale to be symbolic. So as you breathe out, you're breathing out anything that doesn't serve you, whether that is tension, whether it's anxiety or feelings of stress, whether it's negative feelings, whatever's going on in your life, whatever you feel like you're carrying with you, use that exhale to let it go. Let it go. Just breathe it out. And in the same respect, we can use our inhale to breathe in that new fresh air, that positivity, creativity, whatever you need in your life, a positive word, a positive feeling or memory or something that feels good. Breathe in the good, breathe out the bad, right? So I want you to do just a few more rounds of that. Inhaling and exhaling, extending that exhale. Let's go 2 more. As you're ready, you can open your eyes and just take a quick moment. Notice how you're feeling. Notice if you feel a little lighter, if you feel better, if your mind feels clearer. And that's okay if you feel a little anxious still or you're kind of bored. I know breathing isn't the funnest thing to be doing. You don't think about breathing a lot in a yoga class, but to me, it's the foundation of a yoga practice. So when you're ready, come up to a comfortable seat. So typically in yoga, when I say come to a comfortable seat, normally for me, it would be like a cross leg. Some of you, this isn't going to feel comfortable. Maybe your cross leg looks like this. So another option would always to be come up onto the knees like this and then sit here. If this doesn't feel good, it's too much pressure on the ankles, you go ahead and take a pillow or something and put it underneath. Another option, this is one of my favorite, and I recommend most people to do this, is to take a pillow or a blanket and you're just gonna sit on it. So I'll show you this way, like this, and then your tailbone kind of hangs off. And this helps create more space in the spine, because when I sit like this, which you can't really see, but when I sit like this, there's a lot of pressure here. So when I elevate the hips, it takes some of that pressure off. And then if neither of them were comfortable, sit on a chair or legs like this, whatever you need to do. We're just gonna do a little bit of movement, maybe about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So hands by your knees, relax the shoulders. You're gonna inhale, lift the chest up and lift the gaze up towards the sky. Exhale, you're gonna round the upper back and tuck the chin in. Good. Inhale, lift the chest, look up, drop the shoulders. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin. This is called a seated cat and cow. Inhale, chest lifts, eyes lift. Exhale, round your back, tuck your chin. Good. One more. Inhale, lift the chest, look up. And exhale, round. Good. From here, we're going to inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky. Grab a hold of your left wrist, reach up, up, up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, reach over to the right. So a nice big stretch into the right side of your body. Try to focus on that 3-part breath, breathing in and out. And focus on where you feel the stretch the most. So that's that mind-body connection. Good. Release. Take a hold of the right wrist. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, open to the left. So you'll hear me a lot of times say, breathe into your leg or breathe into the side of your body and come back to center. And as beginners, you might be like, what do you mean breathe into my leg? Or what do you mean breathe into like my shoulder? It might not make sense at first, but once you get a better understanding of your breath, it will make complete sense. But basically the best way to describe how you breathe into a certain body part is when you're doing the stretch, like we were just stretching to the side, you feel the stretch right here. Bring all your awareness here. Like, what is the sensation you're feeling? Do you feel a lengthening? Does it feel tight? Whatever. Does it feel really good, like a stretch? So whatever you feel, you're making that connection with your mind, and then you're using your breath to bring ease into the stretch, if that makes sense. So I'm inhaling, exhaling, inhaling, exhaling. Okay, from here, I'm going to stretch into our neck a little bit. So drop the shoulders down, take a deep breath in, exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Relax the jaw, relax the eyes. Take one more breath in and breath out, come back to center. Inhale, exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Few breaths here, relaxing the face, relaxing the shoulders. Good, come back to center. Now, sitting where we are, we're just going to start to make circles. And as you make the circles, I kind of want you to puff the chest out and then round the back. So it's kind of like those seated cat and cows we were doing, but now you're adding movement to it. So the chest is puffing out and then rounding. Like, Make sure you're breathing, focus. I like to think about inhaling as I circle around, exhale as I circle back. Do one more. Come back to center, pause, reset, and then we'll go the other way. Okay, focusing on your breath, focusing on keeping the body relaxed. Good. Last one. Good. Come back to center. I'm going to do one more stretch here. You're going to bring the soles of your feet together. Sit kind of like a diamond and then fold forward. If you want a little more added stretch, take your elbows and gently press down. If you're really flexy, maybe you come all the way down. So listen to your body. Another thing in yoga is, there's all these cool poses you can do in yoga, but we always want to honor our body because we're not doing yoga to be cool or to stand on our head or whatever. We're doing yoga to honor our body and mind. And so it's important that we don't let our ego get in the way. It's important that we listen to our body every day, because you might find one day your body feels like Gumby and you're able to do this and that, and then the next day you get on your yoga mat and you're feeling stiff and you're like, well, I could do this yesterday, why can't I do it today? So that's a really important part of yoga, is learning when your body needs rest or learning when you just need to kind of pump the brakes a little bit. Good. Slowly come up. And we're just going to end there today because, again, I don't want to put too much on your plate. And then on our Wednesday class, I'm going to start to break down actual yoga postures. Today we did more like a seated little stretch, but we're going to move into like downward facing dog, warriors, the common yoga poses that you hear. So that was that. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to do your after journal now. A lot of times students will just write about the experience of the yoga class they just took, or you can write about whatever. So again, set the timer for 5 minutes, write, and then upload it on Play-Doh via Dropbox in one Word document. So I want the before and after in the same document, okay? Namaste.